Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Here we are, the three of us, Vivek, Amit, and I, for a wonderful evening of Community Connect via LinkedIn Live. Namaste, Vanakkam, Sat Sri Akal, everything for you. Today is a very interesting day wherein we will be catching up on the week that has been and what is it going to be for the entire community in the forthcoming days. Just remember, this live is for you. It is supposed to be a dialogue and interaction. So please let those questions and comments keep coming in into the comment section of this LinkedIn Live Community Connect LinkedIn Local India Live. Your host for today, Colonel Amit Verma retired, Vivek Chadha, and me, Preeti Chaudhary. With that, there are a couple of very special guests also here with us today. Before we introduce them, I will give the baton to Amit to talk about the career transition event that happened on the 22nd of July. And the special guests today are related to that, reference that event. So over to you, Amit.
The 22nd event was the culmination of almost 2 to 3 months of efforts, getting in touch with corporates and getting them interested in the conversation with military veterans in career transition. We had the representation from Wells Fargo, Schindler's, Amazon, and last but not the least, we had a very strong discussion which came in from the attendees who were there. The the panel responded to the concerns of the military veterans about career transition, and the theme which came out more and more was about preparation. Veterans were asking questions as to how do we prepare for transition. It was all about the resume. It was all about preparing for the ATS. How do they get their LinkedIn profiles right? How do they reach out? And with the limited numbers that we had decided in attendees, the interaction was very organic. Whatever queries people had, they were answered in detail, and the attendees were able to talk to the panelists in great detail. And that is the advantage. It is not just about talking, it is about being able to take something away from that conversation also, which was knowing people at that level and knowing that they could now reach out to them and build relationships as they go on from here. And that is how we are now in the process of interacting with two of the veterans who were there in that event to get their inputs about how it all happened. Preeti.
Thank you so much for that, Amit. And with that, Namaste, Shaminder and Sumeet. Welcome to this edition of LinkedIn Local India Live Community Connect with your host for today, Colonel Amit Verma retired, Vivek Chadha, and me, Preeti Chaudhary. Welcome to the stream. And essentially, the dialogue that we would like to have, and I'm sure Amit and Vivek have their own questions, but what I would like to understand from you is basically your experience of the entire career transition webinar that you attended on the 22nd. So, Sumit, I would come to you first in terms of what stood out. Were there any takeaways? What did you think? And what are your thought process after coming out of that webinar the other day? Over to you, Sumit.
Ma'am, good evening. First of all, it's an absolute pleasure to be here, ma'am, in this particular forum. And thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to share my views about the webinar which I did on 22nd. It was very eye-opener because in my past also I've seen that the veterans were trying to come out of the forces and wanted to make a career in corporate. So they there's a mixed match. Definitely there's a gap between what the corporate wants and what they think about what they should do. So first and foremost thing, it was a really eye opener for each one of us because the kind of the knowledge which was shared over there, like a small thing like networking is so much essential. We all of us we all know about that, but how many of us we do networking? So that was something which is very imperative nowadays, and LinkedIn is a platform through which the networking can do wonders. Secondly, the learning for me was that make your resume in such a manner which the recruiter can read. See, the language which the Fauji uses is totally different what the corporates want. Because after serving in say 10 years, 20 years, or 25 years in the armed forces, so we only tend to write that thing in our resume, which particularly a recruiter will not be able to see. For example, if I see my resume now, so I didn't have commanded a company at say high altitude. Now this particular thing a recruiter will not know. So now I need to tweak my this thing and I in this particular word. So as a company commander, what was my role responsibility? So my role was to motivate the troops. So this comes under the motivation part. This comes in the team building part. This comes under the say camaraderie part. Or if I was looking after their financial administration, so this was the financial acumen which was given to them. So these are the two things which I really enjoyed, and I really it was thought provoking that this is how I think all of us we should take our journey forward, man.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Shaminder, coming over to you, what were your takeaways? What was your thought process? What did you think of the entire evening? Over to you.
Okay. Firstly, thank you to everyone for calling me over this small session. It really means a lot, and really fortunate to be part of this particular series which is there you're conducting. So I'll be covering my my feedback in basically two portions. One is the way the LinkedIn local probably I have observed in the few past few days, which probably on LinkedIn I was on regular basis I used to check. So because I was fortunate because I have done recently only I did IIM Ahmedabad, so I had already some kind of exposure. But then I have attended other forums also, other groups also, where this career transition is there. So the way the LinkedIn local, because there are some very peculiar points about the LinkedIn local which actually made me join this particular session which was there day before yesterday. So firstly is the personal touch which LinkedIn local gives. Once you are a part of any series, so the way you especially Preeti and Col Amit, the way you get in touch with your own people who have registered, that particular is something which is really it touches. Yeah, you're having a personal connect with someone who's you're going to attend that particular series or session. Second is the way you people promote your this work very quite aggressive. The way you do the way that you unfold your the D-Day. So that is also quite exciting. It keeps you always on your toes. Yes, something is coming, some event is coming. And then is basically your live YouTube is a big thing. I think that gives more visibility. So that is also another portion which I can say. And coming to the participant as such, because yesterday when before registering for this particular session, when I saw the panelists and the companies which were there, so probably that is the biggest advantage of I think LinkedIn local, because in other forums which you attend, generally you have own veterans only which speak to you. So and especially who are already working in the corporate, so that doesn't give you the right picture from a person who's already in the corporate for a long duration of time. He's there in HR or maybe in operations. His perspective is very important for anybody, any veteran who's going to be hired, because he may be given a view by a veteran who's there, but his viewpoint over the years may not be the same, which like they were yesterday, there were very valid points which were given by the company HR or who were at the various posts. They said what they are looking like Wells Fargo, like they said, it is last year only they started, because we also had we had a 4 hour of officers who went to Wells Fargo and the team had come there. So the same way, the way he told, the way he the discussion was that how one can look into the gap which is there between the veterans and the civilians, how they think and how we think. So that was a very important aspect, because I still being a veteran just on June 30th, and I still have to join a corporate. So you still are the confusion is still there, how to perform. So probably this was that is why I joined this particular local LinkedIn local, because I thought definitely I'm going to gain, and I am very very thankful to you that it was a very very gainful insight, because they were very relevant point given how to actually. And the one major thing which probably Major Chhibber told is the connect, because we've been trying to send resumes to thousands of companies, but nobody gives a damn about that. So till the time you're not connected to the right people, and I think LinkedIn local is that platform which connects you directly to the company. So I think that is a beautiful thing which probably I think lack other such we have some other kind of groups which are there which try to have that kind of series, but probably this connect with the company as such that too with the HR head or someone in a different field, and that too a civilian who's there for some quite some time. I think that's the biggest advantage of this series which we had day before yesterday. So
Thank you
yeah.
so much for that. Both of you, very kind words. Honored to be able to serve because it is something of a passion project, and it is more in terms of providing visibility and a voice because all of us here think that veterans are actually unrepresented, underserved in the entire community. There is so much of great talent pool lying here, but just because there is no bridge between the corporates and the veterans, that this sort of miscommunication and all of these invisibility issues arise out of. What we are trying to do is actually bridge that gap and make that conversation and that dialogue happen. We keep on reiterating every time we are not a job providing agency. We will not be doing any job fairs. All we would be providing is a platform for that dialogue to happen. And then it is amongst the veteran and the corporate to engage with each other, keep learning and evolving in that process, and then something will definitely come out of it. So that is the only motive. So very encouraging. Thank you so much for that. I think it's over to you, Amit and Vivek. My first question is over, and over to you now.
What I would like to add to what Sumit and Shaminder just shared with us, the focus on resume is drummed into a veteran who's doing career transition that they have to prepare a killer resume. What nobody talks to them, or sometimes they actually discourage, is about a LinkedIn profile. And that is where the most excitement is because nobody talks on a resume, but everybody talks on a LinkedIn profile. You can have conversations, you can connect with people. Everything that LinkedIn Local is able to do is because LinkedIn exists. This conversation is not happening on Instagram, it's not happening on Facebook, it's definitely not happening offline in various activities because they're closed communities. You cannot be in a well and hope to sail oceans. Connection nahi hai. You have to come out. You have to come out, and that is the challenge which veterans face. And for Sumit and Shaminder, there was so much that we learned from them. I have been talking to Sumit. It's almost like it's a motivation to be where he is after the transition and the way he's been able to handle his multiple job opportunities, the way he has been able to make the career happen in the corporate. I think those are the stories that we can focus on, Preeti.
Thank you so much. You're absolutely right, Amit, over there. And precisely the reason why we have Veteran Spotlight as well on the Monday evening, but that's a separate story. I think Vivek wants to say something here. So over to you, Vivek.
So, after attending yesterday's event and all the discussions that have happened, I have a very simple and interesting tip, for all the veterans. This applies in general, but it applies specifically to veterans because I've seen this happen. So whenever you want to approach a company, companies are made up of people. You need to identify the right people and you need to look at it at a longer term. You don't need to look at it like like a very small or quick transaction that I will talk to that person, I will send my resume and I will tell him to give me a job. It does not work like that. You need to start dating for at least 3 months before you ask them for marriage. So the ask has to really come after 3 months, absolutely not before that. It means you need to have a runway where you are preparing in terms of talking to people, networking, asking what are their challenges, what are they doing, and also telling what are the values that you can bring, what have you been doing. Not necessarily everything has to be about your job. So you need to basically build on a relationship. You talk to, for example, 10 people. Each of these 10 people, you start a conversation, around your profession, around, things you are interested in, about your ambitions, short term, long term, what you have done, everything. And not necessarily bore that person with, that I want something from you. It should not look like that you are just talking to him because you want that job and after that, you'll use and throw. It does not work like that. You talk to 10 people and after 3 months of, for your first conversation, and at least, one conversation every 15 days, should you even reach that topic. It will be humongous. Uh, so yes, that is my tip there. And those, out of those 10 people, 3-4 people will become, your very good friends, confidants, mentors, who will also help you in the future, even if you get in the job, when you want to get comfortable with the culture, or next time when you're trying to change a job in the, say in a couple of years. People don't follow this. People come to the natural human instinct of, doing the transaction right now, and that just boards people off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my tip here.
Thank you for that, Vivek. Coming to you, Sumit, you have gone through a transition already. You have been in the corporate, and now you're an entrepreneur. And Shaminder is actually just about stepping now. So it's like we have both the ends of the spectrum, wherein we have a veteran right here who is going through that process, and in you we have somebody that has been through that process and is on transition number two, if I may. Because you have transitioned from the forces, you have transitioned from the corporate, and now you're an entrepreneur. So just take us through very quickly through that mindset of when you were transitioning the first time from the forces, what helped you then, and for the second time when you were transitioning from the corporate to your own company along with your postmates, what was your mindset then? Maybe Shaminder will be able to take something out of that journey. Very briefly, just take us through that, please. Over to you.
So, ma'am, I'll answer this question two parts. The first, when I
Sure.
was coming out of the armed forces, so and the one thing which I again learned in that particular session which we had the other day, that you have to prepare to leave your baggage behind. Now, as an army officer, what all I've done, that was then the armed forces only. And when I'm coming out of the corporate, so I was part of the HR team, so HR was new for me. So it was like a clean slate. Even though I did my MBA in marketing and HR, but that's a separate story. But when I joined the organization, the first thing which I asked my boss is that I will come to you every week for feedback, and I would definitely want a genuine feedback from you. If it is something which I'm not learning, you have to tell me that this is the thing which you're not doing right. And if I'm doing something good, so then also you have to motivate me, because motivation is always important. So this is how gradually I started learning the nitty-gritties of HR and whatever the job profile was. And now, and this is very important. See, I was reading someday, like yesterday, in fact, yesterday I was reading. Now the world is totally changing. Now, what is happening is, because of this pandemic, 42% of the skill set is going to go lost now. Whatever skill set we were having, now it is going to be a digital arena only. So digital something is something that all of us we should learn. Now, that particular mindset, ki I know everything, that should not be there. Even though whatever number of years I've put in HR or say the marketing or administration and whatever, wherever we work. So that is something which comes to your as a gift. But you should not stop yourself for learning new skills. So this is something which I learned for 13, 14 years. Every day or every day I'm learning something. I'm going through LinkedIn. I don't shy in talking to people. I don't shy in sending them requests, getting some. This is how I met Amit sir. This is how I have met you also, right? And second part, coming to the entrepreneur part, obviously, ma'am, it was a challenge which I think I had to, because I was doing comfortably well in my job in my HR, but something new I wanted to do. And then when I ventured into the entrepreneur part, so the thing which we started was something which I was very passionate about. One is sports, the other is the HR. Both the things. So we got into both the things. So my advice is that when you start working, which what you like, so it becomes a hobby and it becomes a passion also, and then start loving it just for the sake of it. Okay, this is a good brand, this is a good role, or this is a role which I should go about, and after 3 months you start cribbing about that. You should. I think nobody should do that. First of all, first, like Vivek said, it has to be a 3 months of dating. So understand where you want to go, understand which organization you would like to get into, read about it, read about the role, and upskill yourself. That is very important, ma'am. So I think this is
Okay.
something which I would like to advise, ma'am.
Thank you so much for that, Sumit. Shaminder, coming over to you. You have just about transitioned on the 30th of this month, and now you have this road ahead in terms of securing that corporate job, and you would be sort of going about that in your own mind space and with your plan. What is your plan now? How are you going to approach it, especially Now with everything topsy-turvy, what are you thinking? What is going on? Are you still upbeat, positive? What's going on with you, Shaminder?
Yeah,
Over to
actually,
you.
I was fortunate since I told that I, attended. I was there as part of this IIM Ahmedabad DGR course, which we just finished in this March only. So we had the campus placement. Only thing is my joining is little delayed. So yes, I'll be joining somewhere in September or October. But yes, the point is, at this particular juncture, you still have that insecurity. Probably you feel things might change because the dynamics are changing so fast, and in the way there's a exponential rise in the cases in India. So one feels, insecurity definitely comes. You feel so how feel that my job which is there probably it'll remain or not, because there are few of the officers who did IM with us. So few have been told, it'll get delayed for a few months. Someone has been told, that though it's very less, very few percentage have been told, but still that insecurity is in your mind. That should I start, approaching some other people? How do I go about it? Yes, definitely. I'm still, I am doing my process as a what I should do to secure my job. The one which is already assured to me, I am not looking as that that is 100% guaranteed, because in corporate till the time you don't join, so there's no guarantee. So definitely, what I am doing right now is, since I had this opportunity to have that spend that 6 months in the course and get to know with speak to people like Chhibber said, preparation, and also I would like to give suggestion and advice to someone, people who are transiting, that first of all one should know why he's quitting. That is very very important, because there are officers who see the situation. COVID may be one reason, but they have seen even earlier years also that some officers do join back at the last moment, because they're simply not clear what exactly the road I'm taking. So at the last moment, some decision will come to their mind, or something will come to. So one has to prepare at least 3 to 4 years before he leaves. So I've been doing that, because and you have to speak to your people who are there outside, who are already there in the corporate, your junior, your seniors, or your friends who are there. You get to know how the corporate functions, what are the way it is, the timings, the other, the rule positions of various company, the cultures. Till the time you're not aware of these things, probably your decision will always be, it will be a dilemma. You keep on thinking, yeah, fauj achhi hai ya corporate achhi hai. So if one has to decide first, then go for it, prepare for it, and thereafter, yes, like LinkedIn now is a platform where probably is a very good is a very good connect to people. Like you can reach to any company. You can there have been offers. In fact, I have to share with this particular forum. I got a call from Amazon recently, just because of the LinkedIn thing, because there was one message which was there that Amazon is doing veteran hiring. So that yeah, so through that I approached that particular guy, and this is the way you connect. Like you have connected. Tomorrow we have, yes, two days before, when this particular session we had, so we connected to all those 4 panelists who had come. So that is the way you connect to people, and this is the way you keep on graduating. And then time comes when you start understanding how the corporate functions. And yes, I would also advise that people should take the advantage of this time, because there are everybody sitting in home. Someone who has taken PMR, because most of the dates were extended for the PMR cases. I was to retire on 4th of April, but because of the COVID, we were given extension for 3 months. So I'm sure there are a lot of people who have retired or have taken PMR on 30th of June. So this is the right time to connect to people. One should not shy away in reaching to, in LinkedIn profile, to reach HR, and then prepare their resumes, take the help of other people who are there, and definitely upskill themselves with various certificate courses which are there. I don't know how much it helps, but yes, right now I'm doing this because I know in which domain I am going. So I'm trying to upskill that particular. Till the time you're not aware, so one has to be aware कि करना क्या है. Operation में जाना है, मुझे HR में जाना है, security में जाना है. Yesterday, or like on 22nd, that was shared by one of the panelists, that you should be clear what you have to join, and we have got all these skills. All the armed forces guy have got all these skills. He can go into any field. So one has to just choose that field which he wants to go.
Okay, very valid point, and totally appreciate all of that. Thank you so much. With that, gentlemen, thank you for being here. Thank you for your
Yeah,
service. Absolutely
thank you.
appreciate it. We are all a
Thank you
big
so much.
family here, so we're right here. Thank you for your time today. We will engage more with you, but for today, Take good care, and we will see you very soon.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
Yes,
much.
ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye.
Bye. So before we move on to the next section, I think we have one question here, a couple of questions here, which we will take and then move on to the next section. But before that, Vivek Kalia is here. So hi Vivek, there's Gautam Nath who's here. Hi Gautam, and we will be taking your questions. There's Captain Sanghamitra Boreddy here. She is also making a comment. Um, but let's just take Gautam's question right here. And I think all of us can give him this tip that he is asking for. We will start with you, Vivek, then go to Amit, and then come to me. So Gautam says, would you say that building a website that showcases you in detail and linking it to a brief LinkedIn profile would be beneficial as opposed to making a very detailed, lengthy LinkedIn profile? Over to you, Vivek.
I think there is no need to create two touch points. Nobody visits a website nowadays. So whenever people ask you for your contact, the LinkedIn profile is the best thing. A LinkedIn profile is more, will give you more leverage than a website. You need to maintain a website. Unless you are an expert in website, I don't recommend you for website. Put all your energies into the LinkedIn, because whatever you do, whatever you write, whatever you post, is visible to the world. If you make a website, nobody is going to visit it, or the number of visitors is going to be very, very less. You need to promote it explicitly. So put all your energies into the LinkedIn profile, your profile picture, how the profile is structured, what have you done, engage with the network, write about the network, connect to people, and just go there 100%. We sometimes once in a month, once in 2 months, do a leveraging LinkedIn, talk. Please come and attend that. And but I would, in to the point, I would say that just focus every energy in building a LinkedIn profile. Also, understand what are the right things to do and not the right things to do when you are, on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is like an ocean, and I would say I'm like, I know 5% of what more could be done. So there, yeah.
Thank you for that, Vivek. Over to you, Amit. What are your thoughts? You've been experimenting a lot in terms of content, in terms of engagement, in terms of relationship building, instead of even checking out people from your profile. Let's hear you out.
When Vivek said that he's explored 5%, I was going to ask him in which dimension, because the sea head down, it's an amazing ocean with depths that we have not even explored. The problem is, if you take out a canoe and expect to cross the ocean and go to a different continent, it's not going to work. And that's where the part about LinkedIn being not just a profile. LinkedIn is a living resume. I'm very sure somebody in our panel had said this part. It's a living resume, which means it's going to be created not just by the profile that you have pasted over there, thinking that it is your resume, it is your daily activity. How do you engage? Whom do you engage with? I saw a post about somebody posting a cat meme. 1000 likes, 45 good comments. Do you think this guy is going to get a job by posting that cat meme? No, he's not. But if he likes it, so be it. You can't prevent somebody from doing what they're doing. If somebody wants to do 2000 courses and post that, go ahead. It may work for you. For some people, it may not work. I'll definitely advise against even doing 3 of them if you don't like them. Don't collect experiences. Create your experiences on LinkedIn depending on your personality. If you are an introvert, you are going to have a tough time, because you have to be an extrovert when you're engaging on LinkedIn. You have to reach out to people. You have to be willing to take rejection. And that is why making a isolated website is not going to work. What Vivek said, creating too many touch points. Your LinkedIn profile is a living resume. You have to come back every day, decide whether you want to do 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. But as we have learned in the armed forces, it's all about strategy. We are good at strategy, right? So let's make the right strategy. And the second part is execution. Just because you have got 40,000 followers does not mean you're popular. It just means you got 40,000 followers. You're not going to win an election. That's not what LinkedIn is for. And damn sure it's not about getting a job either. When Vivek said that you have to create a runway of about 3 months, he's talking about engagement. I hope people understand that part. It's about engagement, that you have to keep engaging. For somebody, the runway may be shorter. Maybe they have better qualifications, maybe they have a better skill set. But the idea is to keep engaging and find like minded people. For the number of followers that I have disconnected with even larger number, and many of them had disconnected from me because we hold different ideologies and different thought process. Number one for me is I'm not going to accept a low paying job. And that is what I very vocally put it out in all the forums. I tell the veterans, you can't go for that 15 lakh wala job because it's in some group. Go back to that admin and tell him that he's a disgrace. You could do that, or you could not do anything. It's your choice. But you are not going to find a post like that from me because I am not, as Preeti said, this is not a job fair or a job portal. It's about creating the right engagement. And once a person is up to a particular level, the jobs will come to you, gentlemen. Three Idiots. You have seen that movie. The dialogue is known to everyone.
All right, thank you very much for that, Amit. And Gautam, now it's my turn. Over to me for that particular question. So, I agree with the other two gentlemen here. I don't think you need a separate website, but I could give you a couple of tips in terms of how you could actually leverage LinkedIn or make this particular platform work for you. So, instead of making a separate website, I would say do a 1 minute elevator video about yourself, like an elevator pitch or like an explainer video, what you get for products. Do a showcase video, 59-second showcase video of yourself, and put it in the featured section of your profile. So, earlier it was words, then it became pictures. Now it is videos that fly. So a video is the closest that anyone can ever get to physically being with you right now. They can see your nuances. They can put in a visual sort of connotation to where you are, where you're coming from. If you look straight in the camera and make a 59-second explainer video about yourself, who you are as a person, as a professional, what you can bring to the table, and put it in the featured section of your profile, I think that will fly better than any traffic on a personal website. Second thing, what you could do to leverage your profile is one is that 1,300 word post that you can write. There is another beautiful, very unused or underused part of LinkedIn, which is LinkedIn articles. Over there, you can write stuff that you're passionate about, 40,000 words plus. You can embed videos, you can embed infographics, you can embed pictures, you can embed anything in that particular article to showcase what you are from. So essentially what you would be doing in a website outside, just put all of that in different articles, post them on LinkedIn, put a link onto your post so that people within your post can reach those articles, and there they will end up speaking about you. So absolutely, you do not need a separate website. All of this is very doable within LinkedIn profile itself. I hope we've been able to answer that question for you. If not, we are right here. Drop us a message and we'll be happy to take it further. Before we quickly move on, I'll read on a couple of comments here, and we will get back to business here. So Vivek Kalia says, very valid point, Vivek. The relationship needs to be nurtured. When you're talking about, the 3 months or 4 months of engagement and then culminating that into an ask later. Captain Sangamitra Boredi says, LinkedIn is about exponential networking. Thanks for giving this great platform. Thank you, Sangamitra. Nirmat Thakur very kindly says, great initiative. Thank you, Nirmat, for that. With that, back to business now. So this section of this live will deal about what we have in store for you for the next foreseeable days in July. So let me start from Monday, which is July the 27th. Mondays are wholly solely dedicated to veteran spotlight. As is, I think, very clear by now, it's become almost like a habit for all of us. 9 p.m. on a Monday night, is dedicated to Veteran Spotlight. There will be another edition of that this Monday as well. Please watch out for all those posts coming in and do join us then. And that will be again via LinkedIn Live, this very forum right here. That brings us to the Tuesday. It's over to Amit for letting us know what is happening on the Tuesday. Amit?
On 28th, we are joining a panel, a very distinguished panel of HR and industry professionals. The topic is entrepreneurship, developing future leaders. The topic is dealing with developing talent and giving exposure to the entrepreneurial spirit within a company framework. It's a very delicate balance because you have to nurture talent within a structure, and the payoff may or may not be there. And that's where the beauty of this concept is, that you can develop talent, you can get some fantastic ideas as long as you're ready for it. And the speakers here are top notch from the industry. We have Vishal Manchanda, he's the head L&D and employee engagement with Industars. We have Tapas Acharya, he's SVP HR for Renew Power. We have our own very author, Vikas Bansal. I'm very glad to call him a friend and a friend of LinkedIn Local that way. He's an entrepreneur, a public speaker, and now a published author of a very successful book. And we have a successful entrepreneur, Gaurav Gupta, who's a co-founder, and he's leading a very healthy health startup.
So, Amit, you want to mention the link is open for that and where to look out for posts? Which chapter is going to be bringing this forth? Over to you.
I sort of held back on that part, Preeti, because personally I'm against anything free, because you get free for free. Here, the advantage is that the four gentlemen have volunteered their time, because quite a few corporate professionals wanted to interact with them, and they were considerate enough of doing this discussion in public. So it's going to be more of a community roundtable or a fireside chat in which these four gentlemen will be coming and engaging on Zoom. It's a community connect. There is no payment for it. So for once, it's a free webinar. But I take it that the value of the information that they will be giving out in their interactions will be something valuable. So watch out for the link. It's on Zoom, and as many registrations as we can take. And it's being done by LinkedIn Local Gurgaon.
Okay, thank you for that, Amit. Which brings us on to Wednesday, the 29th, and Vivek will take us through what is going to be happening then. Over to you, Vivek. Thank you.
All right. So thank you, Preeti. Wednesday, the 29th, we are going to have a dialogue with Dr. Marcus Rennie. Marcus is the General Manager India for Thrive Global. And we are going to have some interesting conversation about how has been the past 4 months affected, the mental health, the emotional well-being, and how do we see going forward. So Marcus is going to talk about basically what are the things going forward we should be doing, what are the learnings that we've had, and how does the next half of the year look like in terms of emotional well-being. A lot has happened. Our lives have totally taken a new direction in the last 4 months after the lockdown, especially. We have a lot of learnings, a lot of failures in terms of what should be done, what not to be done, and using that as a base. What is that we should be looking at? What are the things we should be doing? So join in, with your ideas, with your contributions, with your learnings. And I am very excited for this because Marcus is exclusively coming to this platform, and we are going to talk about a lot of things, a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions I'm going to ask him. So yes, really looking forward to that.
Thank you for that, Vivek. With that, you have been updated, dear community. Please watch out for all the posts from all of our three handles and the various pages that you follow of LinkedIn Local, respectively Gurgaon, Amchi Mumbai, Bharat, LinkedIn Local India, and so on and so forth. But definitely look out for posts from Amit, from Vivek, and myself. And we sincerely hope that you will join us via Zoom or via LinkedIn Live, as the case might be. With that, it is a very good evening to one and all. Please stay safe. Please stay indoors. Please stay sane. Until the next time, this is me, Preeti Chaudhary, with my co-host Col Amit Verma and Vivek Chadha, saying sayonara, adios, bye. Take good
Good
care.
evening and happy weekend.